Cam Ward is going number 1 overall. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Takle Talk Network. This is episode 14. I've been doing this for a while now, but today we are going to be going over my first round mock draft. I've been wanting to do this episode for a while now, and I'm so excited to finally bring it to you guys. To be completely honest, I'm recording it early, but it's fine because right now I am currently in Washington, D.C. I got to go on a special trip with an organization called Honor Flight. Now, if you don't know what Honor Flight is, it's an organization where we take veterans that served in like the Vietnam or the Korean War. It used to be World War II veterans, but we take these veterans and we take them to see their memorials in Washington, D.C. And we also get to take them to different other different places. And it was a great experience. I'm saying that in future tense because I am now going to send it over to myself, who is currently in Washington, D.C., for a special inside look. Graham? Hey there, guys. So I know you guys want to get on with the rest of the episode, but I feel like I should give you guys an update, seeing that I am in Washington, D.C. Uh, it's been a very long day, and it's been kind of just a great experience. I did want to let you guys know in the upcoming weeks, I will be releasing a video talking about my trip to DC and how it was like for me and how it was like for the veterans. So stay tuned for that.
You forgot to feature Ben.
Also,
Oh wait, he's still recording.
I need to feature a good friend of mine, Ben Warts. Come on over, man. How we doing today?
Lovely.
Oh, that's good. So, this guy will be in my upcoming video a lot.
Wait.
Yeah. He doesn't know it yet, but you're also gonna be in this video. So
Oh, okay.
say hi to my fans.
Okay.
Are you subscribed to the channel, Ben?
Okay.
Ben.
Okay.
Anyways, it's a small fan base, but it's okay, guys. Anyways,
You need to subscribe to your channel now.
all right. So this is a great time in the video to bring this up. Go to the Football Man 6597 on YouTube, and then subscribe and turn on your notifications, and please, this will help the channel grow immensely. Even if you don't necessarily like the video, please like the video. Like, just please like it. It will help my channel grow immensely, guys. Like, please do this. I mean, Ben's doing it right now, right, Ben?
Chaperone Pink Pony Club?
We don't talk about Pink Pony Club, or we actually do, because I need those fans to come back and watch my videos, please. It is me. You want to tag the channel real quick?
Are you still recording?
Look at this. Look at this. Ben is such a good guy. He subscribed. See that? And he turned on his notification bell. So he's going to know when my next episode posts. Anyways, so, guys, go ahead, click on the video.
Click a video.
And, anyways, I appreciate you guys hanging out. And, back to the video. Thanks, Graham. And now that you all know a little bit more about Honor Flight and what I've been doing, now let's get back into the NFL. So, in 10 days, as I'm recording this, it'll be 10 days until the NFL draft. And I figured, why the heck not do a first-round mock draft? I mean, I've been wanting to do one for a while. So, let's just see what we can do here. So, as y'all can see, this is my mock draft that I have pulled up for you here. And I am going to be picking every single team's first overall pick. So, let's get started. First up on the clock, we got the Tennessee Titans. A lot of people have them taking, Cam Ward and other things, and I think they're exactly correct. I think it is indeed going to be Cam Ward going number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. Okay? I mean, Cam Ward, I don't have everything unlocked, right? But, he had some really good games throughout this past season. He had some really, really good stats this year. He played all 13 games. He had 4,313 passing yards. He's a really good quarterback. He only had 7 interceptions to 39 touchdowns. So he's a really good quarterback out of Miami, Florida. He's got a lot of great raw talent, and I think he's going to go number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. Up next, we have the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Cleveland Browns could literally take just about anybody. Some people have them taking Shedeur Sanders. Some people having them take Travis Hunter. I have them taking none other than the man from Penn State, Abdul Carter. The reason why is you have Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett on the same defense. That's going to be scary and a nightmare to be messed with. Now, sacks this past season, he had 13 sacks, which was one of the best sacks numbers in the NCAA. This man was an absolute freak and a unit to watch in the college football playoff. Now, Penn State, you had a really good player, and he's going to go number 2 overall to the Cleveland Browns, and that's where I have Abdul Carter going. Number 3 also has a lot of different players going a lot of different places. The New York Giants, they need a quarterback. However, I do feel like with the signing of James Winston and Russell Wilson, they're not going to take Shedeur Sanders. Would I be surprised if they did? No, because it's the New York Giants and they make those mistakes all the time. But I personally have the New York Giants taking none other than Mason Graham. And the reason why I have them taking Mason Graham had a very, very, very good season. He only had 5 sacks, but he had 20 quarterback hurries this past season. He also played over 548 defensive snaps. That's insane. This guy is a great defensive player, and he was really good for Michigan. He was one of their best, if not the best defensive player on the defensive side of the ball for Michigan. Granted, Will Johnson was also a really good corner, but they play 2 different positions. And this guy is just insane. He's 6'3", 320 pounds. He was a junior, so he's not quite a senior, but I do have him going number 3 overall to New York Giants. I wouldn't be surprised if they took Travis Hunter. However, if Travis Hunter falls to number 4, you best bet that the Patriots are taking Travis Hunter. Okay? You got to look at the stats. I mean, Travis Hunter, fantastic wide receiver. He's a great talent. Do I think that he's like the best in the league or will eventually be the best in the league? Probably not, but that's just my take on it. I really do think that he's one of the best prospects in this draft. What? Yeah? Sorry. Okay. Mom. 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 I'm just letting you know I'm trying to record here. It's okay. Like, I don't know, 15 minutes? Yeah, like 15, 20 minutes. I'll be ready. Now, Travis Hunter only had 1 defensive touchdown this past season, but he did get 4 interceptions. It's very exceptional as a corner, but he also played as a wide receiver, and he won the Heisman. This is the Heisman winner, guys. He's going to go top 5. He's probably going to go to the New York Giants, but I have him falling to number 4, going to New England Patriots. Absolute stud. Could not stand up against my Wildcats, though. And he's going to be a great player. Probably not like the best in the league, but I digress. He could be, fantastic for all I know. At pick number 5, this is where things get interesting. So, the Jacksonville Jaguars, apparently their top needs are wide receiver, tight end, defensive lineman, or like defensive tackle, and safety, which is really, really weird. But I was looking at some mock drafts, and I do like them going tight end here and going Tyler Warren. The reason I like them going tight end here and going Tyler Warren is because they got rid of Evan Ingram this last offseason, and now he is with, I think, the Denver Broncos. So Tyler Warren would make perfect sense for this Jaguars offense. You need to get another target that Trevor Lawrence can actually throw to, seeing I think that Trevor Lawrence is still at least a decent quarterback. He was a former number one overall pick. In my opinion, he kind of falls into the same spot as Baker Mayfield. Great talent, but he needs to have a great scheme and a great coach and a great room of talent around him for his talents to actually be brought out into the light. Now, Tyler Warren can most definitely help with that. This past season was, by the way, his first season that he actually played all games, every single game. I say that because he actually played some extra games for Penn State because they were in the college football playoff. However, he had 1,230 yards and 8 touchdowns. This guy is an absolute freak, and he can definitely move the ball for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's why I have him going number 5. At number 6 is the Las Vegas Raiders. Keep in mind, I will have another draft, hopefully before the draft starts, where there will be some trades. I'm just, on this one, I'm picking every single team as they are going throughout the draft, where they're at, and if the player falls to them, that's the player they're going to pick, right? Okay, so at number 6, a lot of people have this happening, and I completely agree with them. The Raiders' number one thing is running back, and you have the best running back in recent years on the draft board at number 6. You're taking him all day. You look at these draft grades, his worst grade of 2024, now I don't have them all unlocked, but it was definitely against Penn State in the college football playoff. I remember watching that game. It was not the greatest, and it just was not great. However, this man nearly broke the NCAA rushing record with 2,595 yards. This guy was in my top of my list. Where did I have him? On the top of my list, and he was just fantastic. I think I had him number 3. You can go back and watch last week's episode if you want to check that out. I highly encourage you watch last week's episode before continuing on this week's episode. It will help you immensely. Now, he was insane. He averaged per carry 6.9 yards per carry. That's crazy. He had 29 touchdowns. 29 touchdowns. This guy is an absolute athletic freak, and I have him going to none other than the Las Vegas Raiders, even though I don't like this pick. I hope the Raiders pick somebody else, because I do not want to play Ashton Genty twice a year. Now, the New York Jets. They need a quarterback, wide receiver, tackle, and defensive line. Now, me personally, I think the New York Jets are probably going to get a quarterback in either the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round. But I would not be surprised, being the New York Jets, that they actually take Shedeur Sanders here. However, I don't have Shedeur Sanders going to the Jets. Who I do have going to the Jets is none other than Will Campbell. And this makes sense to me, seeing that Will Campbell is one of the best tackles, if not the best tackle, in this entire draft class. He is a big boy. And when I mean big boy, 6'6", 323 pounds. He's only 21 years old, and he's a junior. He's a really good tackle, and I think that the Jets just need offensive line in general, and that's why I have him taking Will Campbell here. First tackle's off the board. Next, it wasn't a very popular opinion, but as of recently, it's became a more popular opinion. I actually thought that this was going to happen a while ago, but our next prospect that I think is going to go to the Carolina Panthers at pick 8 is none other than Tedoroya McMillan, who's technically the number 2 receiver if you count Travis Hunter as wide receiver 1 and corner number 1. But Tedoroya McMillan, I do know for a fact he had a really good game against K-State this past season. He sucked it up against this school. I don't even know who that is. But Tedoroya McMillan had 1,316 yards receiving and 8 touchdowns this past year. Was absolutely fantastic. I mean, this guy is huge, and when I mean huge, 6'5", 212 pounds. He's 22 years of age, and he was a junior. A lot of these guys are juniors. The only non-junior I think that I've drafted so far was Ashton Genty and Cam Ward. Now, Tedoroya McMillan, absolutely fantastic receiver. I do not see him falling beyond pick number 8, and that's why I have the Carolina Panthers picking Tedoroya McMillan from the University of Arizona. At number 9, you have the New Orleans Saints. And now the New Orleans Saints need a lot of things. They need a running back, they need a wide receiver, they need D-line, they need offensive line, they could even use another linebacker. However, most people have them taking Shedeur Sanders at pick number 9. I don't see that happening. Okay, Shedeur Sanders at pick 9 just doesn't make that much sense to me. Because, I mean, do they need a quarterback? Yes. Will they probably take him here? Absolutely. But that's not where I have the Saints going here. I actually have the New Orleans Saints taking... Now, this is a very controversial pick here, but I have them taking Will Johnson. And the reason I have them taking Will Johnson is because they need corner help. They need a lot of corner help. I know that's not their top 3 needs, but Will Johnson going to the Saints, I feel like that works perfectly. Seeing that LaShawn Lattimore is gone, they need corner help. They really, really do need corner help. Running back, they still have Alvin Kamara that I know of, unless something happened to him this last offseason. Which, it's the NFL. Anything could have really happened. Wide receiver, I think they can get a wide receiver in the second round. And this defensive line is, like, the defensive line class is really, really deep. And I do think that they can just go out and get a really good defensive lineman in, like, the second or third round if they really needed to. Up next, the Chicago Bears need running back, D-line, and safety. It's not a debate. They really need a good, solid running back. I thought that DeAndre Swift was actually going to be a great quarterback. And not quarterback, a great running back for the Chicago Bears. But apparently, they need a running back. So, I was looking through all of these options that they have. There's some great options for great players that they could most definitely go for. If they don't go like an edge rusher or they don't go defensive line, like D-tackle specifically, I don't see them picking any of these guys here because they just fall too far down. What I do have them picking is a running back because they really need a running back, and this running back has not been falling out of the first round. Granted, they could go for like a Cam Scatterbo or a Dylan Sampson. Heck, probably the best pick that they could go is like DJ Giddens in like the 4th round or a Devin Neal in the 4th round, which I talked about them being some dark horses. Even Travis Etienne's brother, would be a great pick in like the 3rd round. However, I have them going Amarion Hampton. Okay, Amarion Hampton. Let's just look at this first look. 6'1", 220 pounds. Okay, this guy, 1,600 rushing yards. He was definitely the second best running back in this entire class. I mean, if you take Ashton Genty out of the picture, this kid was fantastic. I mean, not only was he so good, but he should have been the best running back in this class if Ashton Genty wouldn't have ever existed. This kid, he came in from North Carolina. I do think he's a really good running back, but I do think that the Bears need to take a chance and get this running back top 10 because he's not going to be there in the 2nd round. They can get defensive line and safety later on in the draft, but they really need running back, and I say they reach for a running back and get Amarion Hampton at pick number 10. Oh boy. Number 11, the San Francisco 49ers. It's not even going to be a question. They're going to go either offensive guard or, they're either going to go offensive guard, which the guard market per se in this class is not necessarily the greatest. So they're probably going to go offensive tackle. And in the offensive tackle room, if I can show you here, Armand Membu is a really good pick. Josh Simmons is also a really good pick in this situation. And I just have a feeling that they're going to take Armand Membu from Mizzou. You just look at this guy, 6'3", 314 pounds. He's kind of small for a tackle, but he's also really, really good. I mean, this guy allowed 0 sacks this past season, 0 hits, only 8 quarterback hurries. This is a guy that you need for Brock Purdy on that offensive line, especially since that offensive line is deteriorating, and it's deteriorating very, very quickly. Armand Membu to the San Francisco 49ers. Dallas Cowboys. They're probably going to mess this pick up more than once, okay? Apparently they need a running back. I don't think they need a running back. I think they just need to give Deuce Vaughn a chance. Let the 5'5" man get the ball and run it through the hole, all right? Let that guy have the ball. But at pick number 12, the Dallas Cowboys take none other than Jahad Campbell. And the reason I have them taking Jahad Campbell is because they love linebackers. Jahad Campbell had a fantastic season with the Alabama Crimson Tide. He had 89 tackles. He only missed 7 tackles. I mean, that's a lot of missed tackles, but I've missed more tackles than that. And I've only played 3 years of high school ball. But this guy has played an amazing career for the Alabama Crimson Tide. I have a feeling that the Dallas Cowboys will either take a linebacker or they'll reach for a wide receiver. But who knows? I mean, the Dallas Cowboys, I feel like Joe Milton is going to be taking over that Dak Prescott spot. If you don't believe me, go back and watch last week's episode where I talked about Joe Milton going to the Cowboys. I encourage you to go watch that episode before you continue on here. But Dallas Cowboys, Jahad Campbell, match made in heaven, according to Dallas Cowboys fans. Whatever. Okay, well, here we go. The Miami Dolphins really need a lot of different pieces. They could get a guard. They could get tackle. They could get defensive line. I'm going to have them go corner. Jahad Barron, okay, from Texas. Really, really good corner, okay? But let's look at this guy. He's 5'11", 200 pounds, okay? This kid has been playing pretty good for Texas, okay? He was pretty good. He had 5 interceptions this past season. He's technically graded as the best corner in this draft. I feel like Will Johnson was the best corner in this draft, and that's why I had him going pick number 9, okay? Miami Dolphins take Jahad Barron at pick number 13. I could see them taking a tackle there, or maybe even a guard, but we'll just see. At pick 14, a lot of people have Tyler Warren going pick 14 to the Indianapolis Colts, seeing that they really need a tight end. However, in this mock draft, he's not there, so they're probably taking none other than Colston Loveland. I mean, you look at Colston Loveland, 6'5", 245 pounds. That's a pretty decent size for a tight end in the NFL. This guy is fantastic at catching the football. When I say he's really, really good at catching the football, he was targeted 82 times. Okay? He had 582 yards. This guy is pretty good. He's also really, really good at a blocking tight end. He's primarily a blocking tight end, but when you need him to catch the football, he certainly can do that. I have the Colts taking Colston Loveland. Really, really good pick here. At pick 15, the Atlanta Falcons, they need a lot of different things. However, I have them going, I believe, wide receiver, and it just depends on what they want. Do they want a Luther Burden, who's 5'11"? Do they want a Emike Ebuka? I think I said that, at 6'1", who clearly had probably a better season than Luther Burden did? Or do they reach for somebody like Kyle Williams down here? I don't think they do that. What I do think that the Falcons will do is most definitely take an edge rusher. And the reason I say they're going to take an edge rusher is because they need all the help they can get. This is the average pick spot anyways for Mike Green out of Marshall. Let's just take a look at Mike Green real quick. He's 6'4", 248 pounds. Kind of small. He's a redshirt senior. Kind of small for an edge rusher in the NFL. But he had 17 sacks this past season. 17. Really, really good. He had 32 quarterback hurries, one batted pass down. That was pretty cool. He had 10 hits on the quarterback. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, really, really good. This guy primarily played B gap, which is kind of interesting, and he played 23 snaps off the ball, which was, I mean, that's really interesting. He had 719 defensive snaps. I mean, this guy is going to the Atlanta Falcons. Up next, you have the Cardinals, who need guard, D-line, and tackle as their top three, according to PFF, which I'm not a huge fan of, but whatever. You go look at the defensive line. You have Walter Nolan, Kenneth Grant. You have these guys. Walter Nolan is really good, and I don't know why he's dropping so far. Most people have the Chiefs taking Walter Nolan, and I don't get that. He's 6'3", 305 pounds. I mean, he had a really good season this year. 6 sacks, 25 hurries. He's really, really good. Played over 500 defensive snaps. I mean, his best game of the season, yes, was against some weird team from Texas. But I do think that the Cardinals take a chance on either Walter Nolan or Kenneth Grant here. And so that's why I have them going Walter Nolan at pick 16. Pick 17. Okay, Bengals. If you don't take defense here, I don't know what you're doing. I have them taking either defensive end or safety or linebacker. One of those three positions. Now, if we take a look at the linebacker position, there's some good studs here, but I have them taking Jalen Walker out of the University of Georgia. Jalen Walker had some really good stats this past season, and I think that he's pretty good. He stands at 6'2", 245 pounds. This man was a stud for the University of Georgia, and if the Bengals don't go defense, then I don't know what they're doing. Next, you have the Seattle Seahawks. They need a guard, they need a center, they need an edge rusher. All of those can come later, as we can see here. There's not really a high-graded edge rusher left unless you talk about Donovan. Not even going to try and say your last name. This guy had 14 sacks this past season. 6'2", 247 pounds. He's a senior. This guy is all ready. The last game of the season was actually his best graded game of this past season. That's why I have the Seattle Seahawks going edge rusher, but I do fully expect them to go wide receiver or guard with their next pick. Next, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's a lot you could do here. They just need a defensive back, really, in my opinion. And that's why I have them going Malachi Starks out of the University of Georgia. It's kind of funny seeing that we had two University of Georgia players go within the same couple of picks. But Malachi Starks, absolute stud of a safety at 6'1", 205 pounds. He's a junior. Had some really, really good stats this past season with 62 tackles. 17 of those were assisted tackles. He had 512 coverage snaps and 907 total defensive snaps this past year. Absolutely fantastic out of Malachi Starks, and he goes number 19. At number 20, we have the Denver Broncos, and I think Denver Broncos would be absolutely ecstatic to find out that Emeka Egbuka is still here, and I think that's who they take. Without question, we already took a look at Egbuka, but let's look at him again. 6'1", 205 pounds. He was absolutely productive for the Ohio State Buckeyes this past year with 1,011 yards on 106 targets. This man averaged 12.5 yards per catch. Best game of the season, coming against none other than Indiana. I think that's who that is. I'm not quite for sure, but anyways, they go there. Steelers, they really need a quarterback. Okay, they really need a quarterback. I don't see them taking a quarterback yet. I see them taking a quarterback later on in like the third or fourth round. However, we are talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do have a feeling that if somehow all of this falls the way it falls, Based off of what I've seen and heard, the Pittsburgh Steelers will take none other than Shedeur Sanders. Now, Shedeur Sanders, out of the University of Colorado, is 6'2", 215 pounds. He's a senior, passed for over 4,000 yards this past season, 37 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Not bad. He didn't really have a great game against K-State. Neither did he against Texas Tech or KU. His best game of the season came the first week of the season against North Dakota State. However, Shedeur Sanders, I do have trust in this guy. He's got to trust the process. He's probably going to fall all the way down to pick 21. If he doesn't get picked by the Pittsburgh Steelers at pick 21, he's falling out of the first round. But I have Shedeur Sanders going pick 21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. No questions asked. Pick number 22, the Chargers. They need wide receiver, tight end, and D-line. All right, this is where I think they go Kenneth Grant. They just got rid of Joey Bosa, who was an edge rusher, but Kenneth Grant, 6'3", 339 pounds. He is a junior. He's young. He's 21. Had 3 sacks, only 3 sacks this past season, but he's really, really good, a really good run stuffer, and that's what the Chargers really need. As a Chiefs fan, I really hope they don't learn how to stuff the run because the Chiefs need to learn how to run the ball better. But that being said, Kenneth Grant going pick number 22 to the Chargers. Pick 23, Green Bay Packers. They really need a lot of help just pretty much everywhere. I mean, you have like edge rusher, cornerback, safety. I mean, they could use some safety help, maybe some safety depth, but that's probably going to come later on in the draft. They could take offensive line. They could take a running back. But I have them taking none other than Luther Burden, which is, by the way, the first time in I don't know how long the Packers have taken a first-round wide receiver. But Luther Burden, absolute stud. He only had 676 yards this past season. He wasn't as productive as he was his previous year, which was his sophomore year in college, where he put up 1,209 yards. So granted, this is all kind of speculative that he's going to be great. But if the Packers see that Luther Burden, the third, is still around at pick 23, I see them taking Luther Burden. Now, with that being said, you have the Minnesota Vikings. Running back, D-line, DB, linebacker. They need a lot of different help in a lot of different places. They could also use some depth. However, I don't see this man. I mean, a lot of people see him falling way out of the first round. His average draft projection spot is almost at 30. It's at 26 and a half. But I have them going James Pierce Jr. out of the University of Tennessee. I mean, 6'5", 243 pounds. This man's also a junior. There's a lot of juniors in this class. But 8 sacks this season, 43 hurries. I mean, this guy primarily played over the tackle and outside the tackle, like primarily outside the tackle. He's a really good edge rusher, and the Vikings need defense. They need defensive line. I have them going James Pierce Jr., no questions asked. Next, this is quite funny. You have the Texans, who need a wide receiver and offensive line. I think that they go wide receiver Matthew Golden from the University of Texas. 6 foot, 195 pounds, also a junior. Best game of the season came against the University of Arizona in the college football playoff. Now, Matthew Golden put up 987 receiving yards this past season and 9 touchdowns. Also a very, very good wide receiver. He's fast, he's quick, and he's going to be a good receiver for the Houston Texans. They also need offensive line, so they could also go Josh Simmons here, but I have him taking Matthew Golden. Up next, the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams really could use either a tackle or a tight end in this first round. Seeing that the first 2 tight ends have already been taken, I don't see them taking Mason Taylor just yet or Elijah Arrow. I don't see any of these guys going just yet. However, I do have them going tackle next with none other than Kelvin Banks Jr. Kelvin Banks Jr., 6'4", 320 pounds, absolute stallion coming from the University of Texas. I think he's going to be great this next year for none other than the Los Angeles Rams. And there you have it. Next, I have the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens from the sweet place of Maryland. They need a lot of help in certain different places with edge rusher, DB. I personally think if this happens, it will be literally insane because the Baltimore Ravens need some help, and they've had some great safeties over the last couple of years. Even though a lot of people don't think that this is going to happen, I have them taking Nick Emamori from the University of South Carolina. 6'3", 227. If you don't remember, I posted it last week in last week's episode. This guy had a monster season. And not only that, he had a monster combine. I mean, this kid is an athletic freak. And if I've seen the Ravens pick anybody, it's always athletic freaks in the first round. Whether it be Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson, and now Nick Emamori going to the Baltimore Ravens. Up next, you got the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions need some, help in other places, but I have personally Detroit Lions going this man, Amar Norman Lott, out of the University of Tennessee. They need some more defensive line help. Aiden Hutchinson's going to be coming off of that injury, and he's not going to be needing to be the only one on that defensive line. The Lions are going to need to find somebody else, and that's why I have them taking this man who put up 5 sacks this past season, 13 hurries. He primarily played in the B gap, which is what they need at Detroit. Amar Norman Lott, defensive line, going to the Lions. Now, up next, we have the Commanders, who, they need a running back as well. They're probably not going to take a running back here. They're probably either going to take an edge rusher or a corner. Seeing that corners normally go really, really fast, I'm going to have them. This is a first-round reach, in my opinion, but I'm going to have them take a Maxwell Harrison. Maxwell Harrison put up a great season for the University of Kentucky at 6'1", 186 pounds. He also put up an astonishing combine, even though he only had 1 interception this past season. He is by far the fastest player in this entire draft class, and he put up an amazing combine. I could see these two going here as well or before him, but Maxwell Harrison it is. I know they also have I know they also have LaShawn Lattimore going to the Commanders. He's already there, and he played some last season. However, Maxwell Harrison to the Commanders as their new number 1 or number 2 corner. Up next, we have the Buffalo Bills. They need edge rusher, linebacker, you name it. You got it. They need it, okay? They need a lot of different positions. I mean, if I am the Bills and I get to this point in the draft and I see these two guys still here, I might take Shamar Stewart because he's 6'6", 290 pounds. 4 sacks this past season, or 2 sacks, this past season. Really, really good. He played most of his snaps outside the tackle, and seeing that they just got rid of Von Miller, they're gonna need an edge rusher. Now, Nick Sorton is also a great look. He's 6'4", 285. He had a little bit more production. He had a couple more sacks. However, I personally think they take Shamar Stewart here, and that leaves me with my Kansas City Chiefs. It's pretty straightforward at this point. I have them taking Josh Simmons. Now, it is possible that they could take a wide receiver here, like this guy, but I don't think he's going to go. I just haven't taken Josh Simmons. I mean, Josh Simmons, fantastic guy, 6'5", 310 pounds. He does have a little bit shorter arms, but the Chiefs need offensive line. They really need tackle. If like Nick Emamori or like Matthew Golden or Luther Burden fall, and I'd even say like Malachi Starks or somebody like that falls to the Chiefs, they're going to pick him no matter what. But Josh Simmons, I have him going. And now you have the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles could do a lot of things, but I have them going Nick Sorton out of Texas A&M. We just looked at him. He had a little bit more production than his fellow teammate. also had a really good game against Bowling Green. And I have, to round out my first round mock draft, the Eagles taking Nick Sorten at pick 32. Now, as you can see, it's grading my draft, but I'm not going to pay for that because who pays for grading a draft these days? Now, as you can see, this is my official first round mock draft of the 2025 NFL Draft. Tell me what you guys think about it in the comments, and just remember, whether you're listening to me outside or you're sitting at home, I appreciate you for tuning in and listening to the Takle Talk Network, and I'll see you next week.